And I would like to bring on right now.
Wait, I don't want to. Hold on. Mike, where that scrub go? All right, this is a bunch of baloney. He's out there running his mouth. Yeah, he mentioned my name, El Diablo, formerly what I used to be. All right, as you see, there's no more hood on this beautiful face. I belong with the pretty boy. All right, as a tag team. All right, no more El Diablo. El Diablo was then. This is now. All right, it's that easy. It doesn't take a rocket science. Even he can understand it. All I know is you got to get Mike back out here because he's. Man, I haven't seen him in a long time. Like the kick his ass. But you know what I'm saying?
And we thank you, Jose, for coming on the show. Pretty boy.
It's your pleasure.
Any challenges you'd like to make, first of all, to any guys out there in the organization?
We don't need to make challenges. You think we need to make challenges?
Any and everybody. It doesn't make a difference who they are.
They're only gonna get. Well, this is a G-rated show.
Okay, then they're gonna get a pretty intense reality check. That's all. You know, anybody and everybody.
Also, is there a dream match you guys would like to be in? Tag team action, singles action?
Well, the only dreaming.
The only dreaming anybody can be doing is our opponents. It's that easy. Ain't no need for a dream match. I mean, it don't make a difference where they're from, who they are. I mean, you know, everybody knows we're just as ferocious, you know, as any storm. You know what I'm saying? We're just as intense as any
rebel.
As any rebel, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're definitely, if anything, more unified than any tag team.
Championship wrestling.
And but we won't mention any names.
We won't
So we'll leave that alone because that's title infringements and things like that. But dream matches, there ain't no need for dream matches. Ain't no need for any challenges, anything like that.
And have you two held any titles in your span of your career, or are you looking to hold certain titles?
Me personally, I've held just about every title everywhere I've gone. Basically, I've held the UCW light heavyweight title. I've held the New England Wrestling TV title on 3 different occasions. The Rhode Island State Championship title, Yankee Pro Wrestling, independent interstate title. They're also their lightweight title. We are now cruising for the tag team titles.
Excuse me. I am former 2-time Rhode Island State champion, former Yankee Pro Wrestling tag team champion, 1/2, which my partner at that time did lose the titles. And we're gonna make that Punisher. That's on you. And we're on our way to regaining the tag team titles in Yankee Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, presently Mark Chambers and
Lucian Luscious.
Yeah, something like that.
Bagwell.
He's trying to be a spin-off. From Buff himself.
Yep. And but we're gonna have them titles back real soon, right around the waist.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how it is.
But you going on with the interview.
Numerous titles, and we're proud of that, and we're gonna have many more in our careers.
And what are your thoughts on the other indies, PLW, UCW, NEWA?
Your point is what? Your
Well,
point.
you've seen 'em,
Well,
right?
we'll catch a phrase from what is it? Rhode Island Wrestling. Been there, done that. Woo! 2 times.
Also, over your span of your career.
Nothing bad to say about them. On that note.
Me neither.
Okay.
Ooh, did it all. that said it all.
Oh man, we're that good. We're just that good.
Also, have you had any injuries over your 2 careers? If so, which ones that stick out the most in your mind?
I've had numerous. In fact, I'm just now getting over pulled muscle in my left leg. I just found out I have spurs in my neck from a couple of different matches that I've had. But I think probably the most I've had like 3 or 4 different concussions. Probably the most intense had to be against a match I had in Adams, Mass. with live wire Dave Padula. It was probably one of my best matches I've ever had. He's taking me to the limit, kicked his butt. That's beside the point.
Yeah, but still, I'm just getting over tearing up my ankle pretty bad, torn up my knee, cracked my tailbone. That was painful. Jammed up my wrist a few times, couple of concussions. It happens. We're not out there baking cookies and making cakes. We're out there to hurt people and maybe get hurt, but that doesn't happen a lot to us. We more hurt people than get hurt, but it happens.
And who do you guys dislike the most in the wrestling business? Any organization, pretty much.
Well, we don't dislike anyone. Well, we kind of like you, but this because this is your show.
Well, we dislike anyone
To get
that
in the ring with us.
stares across the ring at us.
Anybody that thinks they're gonna get through us to get what they want to get, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna.
It's
happen.
not gonna happen.
Everybody
But
knows my credential, what I've done, where I've been, what I've accomplished. As El Diablo, as Jose Perez. Some people may know me from other gimmicks that I've done, but everybody knows me as Diablo. I'm one of the most intense wrestlers that was on the independent circus in the East Coast, and I mean circus because a lot of the independent stuff, it is like a circus. You know what I'm saying?
Ring.
You know, once you get into Yankee Pro, it's an entirely different ball game. You know what I'm saying? But everybody knows me for who I am. Everybody knows Pretty Boy for what he knows, what he does, and what he can do. That's why we've tagged up. We've had a little friction with each other. I'm not going to deny that.
No.
I'm not going to deny that we had. But we put our heads together, and we're making what we have to do right, basically,
We're
for the
opening
better
eyes,
good.
You know, we're taking names and we're opening up everybody's eyes. They see what's going on. They see what we can do and what we're capable of doing.
I think I'll run the interview now.
And yeah, go ahead. You know, get the pad. You ask me all the questions. No, let's not take a show. Come on.
Would be nice.
Also, before you guys came out here in the studio, Mike Messier was out here. He announced that his favorite match of all time that he has witnessed was Luger Sting Steiners from Super Brawl 1. Is there a certain match that you guys, it sticks out in your head as being the best match that you've witnessed?
Well, for one, for him saying that, that's a mark-ass question. All right, in a nutshell. You know, anybody's going to go talking about some other pros up in Guam somewhere going to talk about that's just a smart mark. But I'll still give him credit. I got respect for that boy. Probably one of my best probably one of the best matches I've ever seen. Had to be one that I think I was in. Probably have to be maybe West Warwick High School, tag team death match. Basically anything goes. It was me as El Diablo at the time, Marvin the Maniac versus Thrash, Bad Boy Billy Black. We won't talk about his wife right now because we know what happened.
She flipped out.
You know,
she flipped out.
little juice,
Him up a little
your
bit.
little orange juice. You know, he kind of. But needless to say, but that matches that I've had barbed wire matches. But it's hard to say. If I were to get into any type of one of the big two, I'd have to say probably Rick Rude and Ultimate Warrior. They had the title in the cage once. But other than that, I don't really care.
I think the best one I've ever seen had to be the 1 hour Iron Man match between Sean
I agree.
and Brett.
That was a good.
You know, they went hold for hold, move for move, and it was awesome. I mean,
And it was interesting.
yeah, it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed
wait.
it.
I gotta say right now, I gotta say shout outs to Mick Foley. At the time, Mankind. Steel cage match, him, Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? Got thrown off the cage.
Through the table.
Through the table, then got thrown through the cage, through the thumbtacks. That had to be by far one of the best matches I've ever seen for the simple fact that he did everything and anything that nobody else has ever seen. Regardless whether it's here, over there, Japan, anywhere.
Well, you still got to give props out. The match wasn't all that. Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, but when Vince took the bump off the top of the
Yeah, I
cage, that was
That was more jealousy. That was more jealousy.
He still did it.
He still did it. Didn't do as good as Mankind.
Yeah,
But
he still did
no,
it.
we're marking out now. We gotta stop.
That's true.
Back to us. Back to us.
And what are you guys' future plans for the independent circuit?
For the independents, basically what we said.
Rule.
Rule.
Dominate.
Kick butt. You know what I'm saying? We
Take
ain't
names,
take
kick
names.
butts,
It's
you know.
that easy. We are team personified right here. We are the tag team for the new millennium.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We have sheer handsomeness in Pretty Boy and sheer intensity in myself. Like, again, everybody knows what I can do. I can go technical. I can go hold for hold. I can go ballistic. I could do anything that need to be done.
Mhm.
It's that easy. You know what I'm saying? Mike Messier was out here talking all this stuff that he wrestled. They're a bunch of nobody, a bunch of jabronis, if to coin a phrase. You know, I don't want to mock out. I don't want to seem like I watch Monday Night Raw and stuff like that.
But if he wrestled, you know, people at the caliber of
Now,
Jose
wait a minute.
Perez,
Speaking of-
Hernandez,
yeah,
know,
you're
then
right
you can
there.
talk about that, you know. But
now that I said Monday Night Raw, I have to. Now that the fact I got a camera in front of me, you know, they're nothing but a bunch of criminal thieves over there. Because I remember a night that I brought. Yeah, right. The shirts. I mean, I remember a specific night that I worked the show
Party
in
boys.
Westport, Mass. All right, I worked. What was that? Mock Star, whatever it's called. Name is
him.
whatever that screwy name is. But anyway, it just so happens that Gangrel was on the card that night. He worked against Kyle Storm, which is actually a very good match. But I just come to realize that right after that show, he had brought in Christian. And Christian just finished using a move that I invented. Out of nowhere. You know that reverse DDT type thing where he jumps?
It was
That
the
mine.
power neck breaker that they were using down south, down in
Oh yeah, the one with Wrath and Mortis.
Yeah.
That was done. That was ours. But definitely, I think the biggest slap in the face had to be Mark Merrill's return as the magnificent one, would screw up whatever he was, because that's all he was after he came back from his knee injury, basically. But he came back with that new move, the TKO, a move that I was doing for a year before he had the balls to get in the ring and do it. And the sad part is that his wife does it better. That's the sad part. The sad part is his wife does it better. I'll give her credit because she did my move, but he stole my move. So as for them, I don't have no respect for that because they're a bunch of criminals.
And who or what inspired you guys, if anybody or anything, to join the sport of wrestling?
I gotta answer this one first.
Me, huh?
Yeah, okay. It was somewhat.
You
Okay.
gotta remember where
But
we met.
yeah, I know.
Not Rocky Point either.
No, it wasn't Rocky Point. It was downtown somewhere, downtown Providence somewhere.
Show.
But it had to be Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. I mean, when he used to come out to the ring back in the early '80s, the flowing robes with Bobby Heenan, then he used to get into the ring and tell Bobby, "Hey, Bobby, look under the ring. Look for the stretcher." And what did the guys leave on after the match? The stretcher. You know, I love that. I ate that up. Has to be Paul Orndorff because he's one of the greats.
We had an interview a couple of months back, and is ridiculous as it's gonna sound, everybody's gonna be like he's nothing but a fool. I still have to say it probably have to be Hulk Hogan, for the simple fact that as much as everyone say he did make the sport what it is, he made it more visible for everybody. You know what I'm saying? He can't work a lick. He all knows 4 out of 5 moves. You know what I'm saying? But people paid to see the man. He was a marketing. He knew his stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think I've only seen, in the time I've been watching wrestling, I think I've seen Hogan work one time. I mean, literally work, and it had to be against Dean Malenko. And I mean, they went hold for hold.
That's probably because he made him work.
That's because Dean made him work. But guys like Hogan, Flair, Piper, Orndorff, Jesse the Body, what's up, Gov? You know what I'm saying? Guys like that, those all inspired me. You know, seeing the cages, definitely Jimmy Snuka was a big influence when I was watching wrestling back then. But those are probably the guys, the old timers that actually keep on the memory.
Also, how did you guys get involved in the wrestling business?
I actually started in Power League. As funny as that may sound, but I'll give props where props is due. I started there, then let me play there, basically, and I started there when they were just in a, what should I say, a 2x2 square box, looked like a sandbox, and basically started there. And I've always been one that I take from my mother, but I've always pushed myself forward and to get better myself. But I started there. I was always watching New England Wrestling Alliance on TV. Happened one day to bump into everybody's favorite, Tiny the Terrible. If anybody don't know who he is,
Get a life.
Get a life. You don't want to meet him, but if you do meet him, he's about this big with an attitude. But I met up with him one day. He basically introduced me to the owner. We talked, and I got into that, and went on from there. From there, I went. I learned the ropes there as much as I could, but my first independent, when I started going independent, had to be in Salisbury Beach. There was a place called Champs Arena that was on there by Callahan Muldoon and Big City Mike. God rest his soul. He passed away a couple of years ago. But that's where I first got my break. I was up there with guys like the Eliminators were there. A couple other known, Brutal Bob Evans. A lot of guys like that, and that's where again now I'm reside with Yankee Pro.
I first foot in the door thanks to my tag team partner here. He got me into NEWA. You know, I worked there for a couple of years, and from there, I went on to bigger and better things. Yankee Pro Wrestling, and it's great. We're just having a time. I was like, yeah.
I got him at the Yankee Pro, and
Yep.
then things kind of went solid, and he kind of jumped me. But that's
Wow, that's the past,
that's
you know.
the past.
You know, that was the past, you
I had
know.
to get that off my chest.
But hey, now we're jumping other people.
That's
You know what I mean?
That's it.
And Pretty Boy, who was your debut match against, if you can remember that far back in the independents?
My debut match was against one of the hottest lightweights around, Antonio Adams. It was an awesome match.
My brother-in-law, by the way.
His brother-in-law,
I saw it.
and it was great. I mean, my first match, and we had a crowd on their feet. We had them jacked, and it was an awesome match. It was great, and I appreciate him. I appreciate that the fact that he worked as well as he did.
And you guys have a goal in wrestling?
You see that? Just another damn fan. You see that? Stuckers, just lack of respect. Lack of respect. It's just.
Goal in wrestling. Talking about goal in wrestling. What's up, pretty boy? Hey, Diablo. Been a long time, man.
I'll shake your hand, but see,
How's the wife?
you know, good. Thank God I'm looking at you, but
Hey.
and it's Perez, by the way. My real name's Jose.
Oh.
And I left that mask a while ago, So if you don't want to be part of the furniture permanently, I'd leave that alone.
So it's
Get
Perez,
it right. Get it right.
Perez.
Perez.
Perez. And what's
Hernandez.
Hernandez. Still
No relate. We're not related. You still the boy. You know what I'm saying?
The arms are bigger, man.
Doing what I can do.
Good sex. Ooh, I couldn't say that, huh? Sorry. Oh well, not my show.
But it is good.
But what was your question again? Where are we?
Goal in wrestling.
My goal? Our goal? What do we say? Kick everybody's butt. That's
Kick
it.
everybody's butt.
That's it.
To get what we can get, take as many titles as we can
Right
take.
now, I think our main goal right now is taking care of that Mark Chambers and that wannabe buff Lucian Bagwell. You know what I'm saying?
And get
Can't work a
Our
lick.
belts back where they belong.
What is rightfully ours. And I'm not saying no talking about belts. We gotta kind of talk about two individuals real quick. One big fat jelly roll, Reverend Redemption. He's got a heavyweight strap right now that we gave him.
He doesn't deserve. We
You-
saved
you
that
do-
belt for him
If
every time.
anybody deserves it,
He was
we
the
should
ring.
both share it
That's right.
because we helped them win it, we helped them keep it, and by
help
God,
him lose
we
it.
can help him lose it. It's that easy. And then for the other half of the screwballs, which in case was said once on TV up in another area where you hang with losers, you become a loser. All right? Punisher, remember this. Who brought you in, who kept you going, and who can take you out. It's that easy because you too, my friend, can definitely be a victim of a reality check.
That's right.
And what are your plans, Jose, for the Superstar Wrestling Federation? You take on Dave Padula in the hardcore barbed wire thumbtack match.
Well, that's self-explanatory. It's kick his butt like I've done numerous times. I wrestled Dave Padula in Adam's Mash. This is be our third time competing, and it's basically 1-1 so far. But I'm gonna give it all I got basically. And I'm gonna give him what I'm gonna give him. He knows he's felt my hits, he's felt my kicks. He knows what I can do. He never knows. You better stop acting dumb over there.
Accentuating your points.
You fool.
Hits, kicks.
You looking like a
Oh man.
looking like you should paint your face white, man, whiter, and make you look like a man. Hey, it's like you ever remember that little cartoon character in the WB network? You ring the bell and you start jumping around. That's look like you, man. You look like a little rooster. You know what I'm saying? See, this is his show, but we can kick your butt. This is his show.
Hey, I came out.
I got respect for you because you wrote some good stuff in the column once before. But I haven't seen you in a while, so I don't know what side you run. We lost respect. But I'm gonna give it all. And I know I'm walking away with it. Not only with the win, but a piece of his ass because I'm basically gonna kill him.
And Mike, what brings you back here on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show?
He here to see the tag team.
During our interview, what brings you back here? The on the air light was on. What are you walking here for?
Right. You had your time.
I just wanted to come back and see why my movie hadn't started yet. But I also heard that Perez and Hernandez will be in the next one. I heard that you guys were out here, and I
Pretty intense reality
I talked to Joe Bruen, and we were trying to work out my busy schedule and his busy schedule, and I said, what day is open for me to come on the show? And he said that you guys might be here today, and I said, definitely book me here because I want to see you guys again. It's been a long time.
He's mocking out right now.
Yeah, you know.
He's mocking
But we had some good times, you know. As Diablo and as Pretty Boy Hernandez, these guys were two of the more talented wrestlers back in the old school of NEWA, the 96 to 97 time period. And whatever happened to Marvin the Maniac? He was a guy that see, he was pretty good.
I'll tell you what happened to Marvin. See, we had this intense match on Rose Up Tuxet, and that was one of the last times he was seen. You know, I beat him down, took him within an inch of his life, and he hasn't been seen since. You know, he got committed somewhere, I guess. I don't know.
That's what I think happened to Marvin. Marvin was definitely an original character, but
He ran into me.
yeah, pretty much, basically. Pretty much. I mean, he had some good matches. He worked with Bam Bam Bigelow. He's worked Jim the Anvil Neidhart. You know what I'm saying? You know, I had
one of them guys beat him like I did.
You know what I'm saying? I was a tag partner with him. We were both in the same little clique at one time, but he ain't nowhere to be found no more. You know, so I think right now he's I think he's like a new truck, something like a Isuzu Montero, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But
yeah.
we won't go any further with that. We'll leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? Peace up, man.
He had some serious surgery on his knee, and that's because of me and his back, because that's all because of me. That's why he's barely walking and barely being able to stand up on his own, and you know, we're not out there really to kill people, but you know, that happens. You know what I mean?
You got something to say? Yeah, right. That's his show, man.
Say something, Joe.
And also, you've met. Of course, you know, everybody knows you've mentioned some of the moves that people have stolen from you. Do you two have a finishing move right now? And if so, what is it?
Anything that we want, we don't care to use, whether it be somebody else's move or something we just decide to do spontaneously. But we have something we use every now and then. It's called the reality check. It's kind of a spin-off from the Dudleys, the 3D version. Yep. It's kind of a spin-off that way, but I think we drive it a little bit harder than the Dudleys. You know
it's just a little backwards version of it. He'll pick him up like he's belly to back of him, and I'm just coming down with the neck breaker. You know, anything else would be uncivilized.
Exactly. Any great Buffon? No, we won't go there. You know what I'm saying? But we have an array of moves between the ability I have with my martial arts and the street savvy of Hernandez and what he knows and what he does. We're definitely in a very formidable tag team.
And who were your toughest opponents in the span of your career?
Well, that's easy. Nobody, because we're sitting here and they ain't.
That's right.
It's that easy.
That's right.
That was a dumb question. That's just dumb.
No, to be honest.
Now, for that, I should go powerbomb him just for that.
Do this, do your table, because you said it. Now, one of my toughest opponents, I'd have to say, not because he's sitting beside me, but because he was my tag team partner. I mean, we've wrestled each other many occasions. Like right before we joined back up and started tagging again, we've had this match out in Mass, deep out in Mass. I mean, it was a no holds barred, no disqualification, and that
went off the wall. And,
yeah.
I actually got hurt during that match. I did a split-legged leg drop onto a ladder onto him, that's where I ended up tearing up my muscle on my leg during that match. But that was halfway through the match, and I still, the person that I am, continue the match.
Yeah,
Not
like running back saying,
"Oh, my wife! Oh, my wife!"
I got one for you. NEWA, crash test dummies.
Oh man, don't even.
we crashed
You
them,
got
we
the
crashed
nerve.
them,
But seeing that
The crash test dummies.
Speaking of crash test
man.
dummies,
Come on.
speaking of
Can
crash
you even
test
bring
dummies,
their names up in front of the two names that you
Damn.
got here? Come on.
oh my God, it was as thin as a
What was,
rail.
what was the fish? Zorba the fish?
I don't know.
Wasn't there a fish in NEWA?
No, it was a whale.
Orca.
It was a whale.
Zorba the whale.
Orca the whale.
Orca the whale.
Yeah,
Wrestling tuna fish.
But back to that crash test dummy thing, I have to say shout outs to a big crash test dummy, Cramden, Everybody knows what happened to him. I had to get up to him. I have to get this
Joe,
up.
give me some juice, man.
Right? Take it home. Take it home.
Oh man.
Everybody has to know. Everybody, and you have to be brain dead not to know if you're.
Well, you look at it. Look at it though. He was a new jack to the sport of wrestling.
But I like that. We're gonna
That
steal
was
that
funny.
one. We're gonna steal it 2 times. 2 times.
It was a scary night, man.
You know. See, I'm allowed to talk about this now because it's all over. And if you're not awake to reality, and if you're not, we can give you one. But anyway, if you're not awake to reality by now, you should already know that he was free. He was found not guilty. All right. Which I was present for that trial. I was actually summoned to that trial in behalf of New Jack. Because basically Cramden is a liar. In a nutshell, he lied out of every orifice in his body, basically.
Yeah, he's fat, disgusting piece of garbage. You know, he knows he was sitting there lying through his teeth, and and his father's just as bad. His father's just as bad because his father allowed it, and then he wanted to rig nigga on it, and then he tried to do what he did to New Jack, and it wasn't right.
You know what I'm saying? I may not agree with what had happened and how it transpired, but the things afterwards that happened, I mean, he waited 7 months. See, this is an exclusive for you. You should be proud. This is an exclusive because nobody else anyway has any of this information. But, you know what I'm saying? He waited 7 months after the fact to take New Jack to court.
And the night, 2 nights after that happened, what did he do?
He
Called your house.
He called me the
was so
night of a
happy.
pay-per-view bragging about what had happened. Bragging.
It was so great. I seen
He
him.
called, and when I told him, I said, "Yeah, I heard what happened. Is you got busted open. You didn't get paid. You got sent to the hospital. Ain't nothing to brag about. Ain't nothing to brag about." Well, then he goes, "Well, I'm not here. You know, I'm actually looking for Bad Boy." I said, "Well, Bad Boy knows. Marvin. We all know. They're all in my house. We all know." You know what I'm saying?
I also seen him like a week or two. A week or two after it happened, and he was talking to me, and he said, "Oh, Pretty Boy, it was great, Pretty Boy, because it was pretty boy. He said it was great because of the fact feel this. And I felt his head. He was like, "Oh, it was great. It was the best experience of my life. I took 50-something
Not to
stitches."
cut you off, but real quick, you're gonna get probably a lot of phone calls, and she might want to give you your phone number now.
no.
Say your phone number now. You get hurt. Say your phone number.
437-2961.
Good boy.
Lying.
I think right. That's just like his mother's cell phone or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too far into that. But if you're watching Cramden,
You're a liar.
you're a liar, and we proved it. And so did 6 juries. 6 jurors. They seen it. They all said it. You a liar. So because they laid it on thick. But we'll leave that alone. You can go back. I just had to get off my chest.
You're a liar.
In fact, I talked to New Jack today. So
Oh, did you?
I'll leave that one. Go ahead.
Well, we will see you two Yankee Pro Wrestling come down. They will be in New Bedford, the PAL Hall, Fall River, Massachusetts. Mike Messier, open contract. We're not sure, but he could show up anywhere. Any.
Beat down. That's all.
You know, as Pedro Morales used to say, I'm up for any type of action. But I gotta say, it was good seeing
Not any type, brother.
Perez and Hernandez. As a matter of fact, with you guys, the new attitude, the new maneuvers, I could see myself managing these guys. We'll talk after the show. But I might just take my official contracts here, get my official attorney up in Swansea to make some litigation, and let's say 20-25%.
Let's say.
Well, that's what you guys get. I'll get 75%. I'm just kidding. I wish Joe.
That's reality check. That's what it's all about.
I wish Joe you the best of the luck. Make sure you plug that show. Show the clips. Show some clips of these guys. I don't know if they brought a tape, but keep it real, man.
Well, thank you, Mike, for coming on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling.
Jerry Garcia, huh?
Pretty Boy, Jose. Like I said, catch on Joe's Hardcore Wrestling right next week, episode 13. You'll see footage of Jose and Pretty Boy, and they'll be in action. Also, a couple old matches from your careers. Also, Mike Messier. Make sure you tune into his movie. We'll have some clips of that right next week.
You're going to see some barbed wire. Keep doing.
Superstar Wrestling Federation barbed wire match. And, of course, we'll see clips from his movie, and that will be right next week. And we'll see you, wrestling fans, at the matches.